I always think of if January 1st does offer a sense of new beginnings for you, on any plane, any level, it makes me think of the yogic um, experience of a sankalpa. So that word sankalpa just means born of the heart over time. So it's kind of like a vow of the heart, but it's not something that you take quickly or lightly, but rather something that you cultivate over a period of time. Anytime we have a commitment to something, we all know this, that it's not like one and done where it might be a solidification in the mind where I commit to this or to whatever it is. But really, the commitment is not just a single step in the mind, but rather the practice, the daily practice, the committed practice of whatever you're moving toward. So that's really what a sankalpa is that we make a vow of the heart. We decide something within ourselves, and then we have to figure out what to do with that commitment. It's not something that just kind of fades away, but something that we have to cultivate every day. So habits, repetition, things that help us kind of stay on course. So sankalpas can be small. They can be something toward the self, like I'm going to be kind in my thoughts toward myself, or it can be outward, like an act of service towards someone or some purpose in your life. Um, think of it less about self-improvement techniques and more about awakening to the truth of who you are. So something a little deeper than I'm gonna, get stronger in my biceps or something like that, which is a worthy goal in and of itself. But it can be born from the heart. Um, so if sankalpas are a part of your vision of what you want for the new year, maybe we can take a few minutes in this beginning meditation to really contemplate what is it that you intend. And if thinking about quote unquote New Year's resolutions is just oh, look at all those balloons somebody put in there. Awesome. I don't know who did that, but thank you. So if New Year's resolutions is your thing, great. But it could be how do I want to show up in the world in service to my community, to my family, to myself. So think less about necessarily it being a tangible thing and more about how do you want to be? And what are the practices as you contemplate this? What are the daily practices that you can incorporate into your life to, in small ways, cultivate whatever this is for you? So, as you come to a comfortable seat and find a good posture, before we kind of intend that in the vow of the heart, let's just be in the body, okay? Be in your breath. And there's no pressure to make a commitment to something in the next 5 minutes. Okay, this is just a process of starting to think about how do you want to show up in the world and how can your daily habits support this? Okay. So as you ground into the breath and into the body, take away any feeling of pressure that now you have to put something on your to-do list and accomplish something. This is not what it's about. So instead, move into presence. Now, as you start to experience yourself, your breath, the sensations of your body, your position in space, kind of let the mind retreat just a little bit and put your attention and your focus into the here and now, into the breath and body. What is the sound of your breath like right now? Is your breath taking the pace that feels comfortable to you, or would you like to slow it down a little bit, or maybe even speed it up a little bit if you're holding your breath? Can you cultivate that sense of smoothness of your breathing, where the inhale feels steady and not choppy, and the transitions between the halves of the breath go smoothly, where you're not jumping over a hump to get to the exhale or inhale? How is your body responding to your breath? Are you able to relax? Can your shoulders soften? Can your face let go? Can you release tension somewhere where you maybe have a little pocket that you can soften? Are you allowing your belly to move as you breathe? Is your diaphragm unrestricted and free? Are you having the sense of groundedness through your pelvis and legs? Do you feel the support of the ground? And maybe take a mudra with your fingers. You could touch your thumbs to your index fingers or middle fingers or ring fingers, kind of play around with mudras and hand placements that might feel good to you. And then turn your third eye to the center and try to soften behind your eyes so that there's a sense of focus in your inner vision. There's a sense of focus through your hands. There's a sense of focus through your heart. And then this grounded, attentive place. Is there a sankopa that you know that you'd like to cultivate, or can you give yourself the opportunity to commit to thinking about a sankopa over the next few days? Sometimes sankopas can be remembering gratitude. It could be remembering presence. It doesn't have to be a task to do. It can be a feeling of being. So no pressure to commit to something this moment, but just open yourself up to possibility. Give yourself time now and in the next few days for contemplation, reflection. And then when you're ready, bring your hands together. See if you can keep this centering to give you an intention just solely for this practice. Maybe it's just a matter of cultivating presence, being here and now. Release your hands and find your way to your back. So as you stretch out and lengthen your body, um, maybe it's been a few days since you've been on your mat. Maybe you've already been on your mat today. But however long it's been, let's enjoy just a sense of coming home to yourself. So put your feet on the ground for a moment and stretch your arms straight out to the side. And you can have your feet wide and knock your knees together if you'd like, or you can keep your feet apart or knees apart. So just find a sense of ease where we now get to commit to the ground again. So drop your weight, feel the earth support you, and find your breath. If you'd like, change your hand position and put your hands on your low belly for a moment so you can feel your body breathing here. Feel the temperature and the pressure of your hands. Let your body and breath unite. And then stretch your legs long on the ground and stretch your arms overhead long and start to reach. Reach one side and then reach the other side and just enjoy that feeling of coming home and welcoming into your body. All right, and then bring your knees into your chest and relax your low back a little bit. Rocking, swaying. All right, and then let's have our hands on our knees and circle a little bit so you just get that feeling of mobility through your hips, through your back, through your sacrum, your SI joints. And then we'll go a third way, opening up our knees away from the middle and bringing them back in. So you just get that feeling of movement. Okay. Right knee into your chest, left leg long on the ground, and let's roll around in your ankles, wiggling through your toes. Feel some freedom in your feet. Keep your head nice and heavy on the ground. Relax your shoulders. And then we'll cross the right knee over to the left and stretch open for a twist here. Take some breaths, and maybe you want a little bit of rocking. Maybe you want stillness. Maybe your arm wants to move. Maybe your head wants to move. Just kind of find what feels good to open up through your body here. And then come back to center and switch sides. Left knee into your chest, right leg long. Move around in your feet again, waking your toes, your ankles, your calves up. All right, and then we'll cross the left knee over to the right and only go as far as you want to go. And again, maybe you like stillness, maybe you like movement. Maybe your arm likes to slide or your head likes to turn. Just see what feels good. Remember your breath. No matter what we're doing, see if you can maintain your breathing body. And then open to a star and expand your body. Stretch your limbs. Let's roll your ankles and your wrists. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Feel a big stretch outward and then exhale and draw your knees inward, tucking in. Relax your head down. Grab your feet. Come into a happy baby. If that's too deep, hold the back of your knees instead. And try rocking a little bit here. Just opening up that low back a little bit. Find your breath. And then we'll lean a little bit to the right and see about stretching your right leg out a little bit, maybe a little straighter. And then come back and stretch your left leg out a little straighter. And then release your legs. One more time, stretching your limbs wide on the ground. Exhale, knees into your chest. And we'll roll to the side and come up to your hands and your knees. As you find all fours, take your time to get grounded, to feel your roots settle into the ground with your hands and your knees. And begin some cat-cows as you feel ready. So we can arch our back and we can round and we can take some time to feel our way through our vertebrae. See if you can put your mind's eye right through your vertebrae. So as you ripple, you can feel each one. Breathing deeply. Where does the inhale feel natural and good? Where does the exhale feel natural and good? The most important thing is that you're breathing. It's the most important thing you're doing in your whole practice is breathing. Okay, let's wag our tail now. Okay, maybe ripple through your torso like you're a fish swimming in the sea. All right, and then any kind of movement that feels good. It could include some circling of your spine. It could include some swaying to see what feels nice. All right, and then we're going to curl the toes under and stretch back like a child's pose, but our toes are curled under, so our hips are a little higher, and stretch open the bottom of your feet. Now, depending on how your feet are feeling, this might feel good, this might feel bad. Just kind of go where your body is okay. And then come back to center and give your feet a nice little tap. Stretch out your left leg behind you, curl those toes under again, and we'll cross the leg over to the right side. Turn and look out over that foot so you stretch through the side of your body a bit here, breathing deeply. And then come back and lift that leg in the air. Find your glutes, maybe a couple of pulses in the air. And we'll take a deep breath in and bring your knee to your elbow and look at your knee. So the knee's in the air. And then bring it back. Exhale, bring your knee in. Inhale, bring your leg back. One more time. Exhale in. Inhale back. Place that knee down onto the ground. If your hands need a shake, give them a shake. Right foot stretches back, heel stretches back, toes are on the ground, and then cross that right foot over the left and turn and look out and open up through that right hip. And then come back to center, lift your leg, pulse it maybe, so you're aware that your hamstrings and your glutes are together. Use your core, press your other shin into the ground, and we'll bring that knee up, take a look at it, and then back. Inhale on the way back. Exhale up. Inhale back. One more time. And then stretch back to a true child's pose now. Walk the hands out in front of you, lengthening. Find your breath, enjoy your shoulders. We're gonna slide forward so we come into a puppy pose. So hips are high over the knees, drop your chest. Feel the stretch through your shoulders and your thoracic spine. All right, curl the toes under and lift all the way to a dog pose. Take a little time here, pedaling your feet, dropping one heel down, dropping the other heel, just finding your way into some mobility. Breathing deeply and fully. Take a little time to move around, to feel the fullness of this posture. Yield into the ground. And then we'll come back onto all fours. Reach the left arm up in the air. Maybe your wrist gives a little swirl, and then exhale, drop that shoulder down. Twisting your spine, relaxing your head, breathing deeply. And then we'll lift that arm back up in the air, reaching up high, and then place that hand down onto the ground. We'll switch sides. Other arm up, give your wrist a twirl if you'd like, and then exhale, slide it under. Breathing deep. A full inhale, full exhale. And then we'll bring that arm all the way back up in the air. Hand comes down onto the ground. Find your way back to a child's. Walk the hands to the right side of the mat and focus not just on your shoulder, but on your side ribs and your side waist. Open up that space as best as you can. And then we'll come back and move to the other side, feeling that length through your shoulders, but also through your side body. Coming back to all fours, lift again to a dog pose, feeling extension and length in your body.
Take a little time to pedal your feet again. Know where your legs are. Ground yourself. Yield into the earth. Give your weight. Drop down. Lift your sit bones. Feel the extension in your full body. Ribs extend. And then walk your feet forward. Come to Uttanasana. Spread your toes. Bend your knees. Melt a little bit. Relax your head. Inhale for a halfway lift. Opening up through your spine. Reaching your heart forward. Melt again. Relax your skull. Breathing for a halfway lift. Inhale. Exhale and relax your legs just a little bit. You can bend your knees. Push off the ground, rising up, bringing the arms to the sky. Feel that extension. Open up the heart. Enjoy what it feels like to have the heart lifted. And let's cactus. Open your chest, spread your wings. Feel your back body, a nice squeeze back there. And then exhale, round in, chin to chest. Lift your arms back up into the sky. Take your feet a little wider. Grab onto the left wrist with the right hand and stretch up and over. Okay, back to center, up and over. I'm going to get into the side bodies a little bit today, so notice them now. Reaching, extending two arms up. Exhale, floating down. Relax your head. Inhale for a halfway lift, expanding through the heart, melting to fold. Back to a dog pose. Extend your side bodies. Get long and spacious here. Let's come forward into a plank. Ground yourself, shoulders away from the ears. Feel your roots. Push the earth. Big breath in, big breath away. And we'll find the ground. Take your arms underneath you for a cobra. Rising up on the in-breath. Melting on the out-breath. Again. All right, come up onto your hands and your knees. We're going to turn sideways. Let's take the right hand on your mat, right knee on your mat, left foot on your mat. Vasisthasana. Shoulders down, away from the ears. Reach that arm up to the sky. And then we'll stretch the arm over and feel that length through the side of our body. Breathing deeply. Coming back to center, we're going to do a little more work with that in a little while with some strength, but first we're just kind of opening up, switching sides. First, start with your hands straight up in the air, shoulder blades down. Find your breath. Press your shin into the ground. And then arc over and reach your arm overhead. Stretch through your foot. Come back to center. Come to the front of your mat. Find your way to a dog. Feel your breath. Open up through your spine. Feel the symmetry through your low back. Walk your feet forward. Uttanasana. Relax your spine. Let it waterfall. Inhale for a halfway lift. You can hold blocks or legs. Melting again. Step your left foot. Come back to a lunge. A nice long lunge. Okay. Place your back knee down onto the ground. Let's open up through the psoas here. Reaching that arm to the sky. So left arm comes up. Extend, maybe a little side bend here. You can put your hand on your leg or a block. And turn this pose into a twist. So forearm or elbow or hand coming on your thigh. Twisting, opening. Open up through the psoas of that left leg, the front of your hip. How's that breath? Remember your belly on your breath earlier? Or your hands on your belly, I should say, earlier. Breathe like that again. Okay, come back to center. Put your hands onto the block. Lift your back knee up off the ground. And we'll start to bend and straighten this front leg, waking up your hamstrings a little bit more. Okay, try to go slow. We're moving with the rhythm of our breathing. We're not rushing through this. When we slow our body movements down, sometimes our mind follows. When we slow our breath down, sometimes our mind follows. All right, ground yourself in your lunge, push through your feet. Come on up, crescent. Opening up through your heart, lift to the sky. All right, take your hands behind your head and lift your heart again. Try not to smush your low back, but we're climbing out of the pelvis. And release your hands down, back foot comes forward, a forward fold. Feel into the symmetry of your spine and your pelvis. A halfway lift. Melting again. Step your right foot back, come to a lunge, left foot's in front. We'll place our knee down. You can always put a little extra padding under there if you need it. Find the depth of your lunge. So we're not at right angles, we're lunging forward. Inhale, reach that right arm up in the air and feel the front of your hip open up. Press that left foot down. And we'll cross the forearm, hand, or elbow to that knee. Your other hand, your left hand, can press on your thigh to help you lift your spine. Stay connected. Hug to the midline with your inner thighs and keep pressing your foot into the ground. How's your breath? How's that belly breath? Okay, come back round. Bring your hands onto the blocks. Lift your knee up off the ground. And we'll start to move with slowness, with breath, as we straighten the front leg and as we bend. Move with breath. Ground your legs. Push through your feet. We're rising up. Arms coming up again to the sky. See if you can climb out of your pelvis with your heart lifted and your arms stretching your ribs up with them so that we're not compressing down, but we're rising up. Push into the legs. Take your hands behind your head, maybe interlace them the other way so the heart is what's expanding here. Try not to compress the back, so engage your core to support. And then we'll release the hands back to a dog pose. Feel that extension in your body one more time. Feel the symmetry. Reconnect to grounding and to breath. Come forward into a plank. And we'll find the ground. Maybe you want a different variation. You do you. What feels good in a back bend in your body right now? Relax to melt. Come up onto all fours, and we're going to find our way with our right leg lifting in the air. The leg is connected, so our glutes, our hamstrings, everything's working together. I'm going to take a deep breath in, stretch the left arm out in front of you, bird dog. Now, instead of coming underneath with our elbow and knee, we're going to just bring them out to the sides, long levers. So as your leg and arm go out, hug back in toward the core. Like you have one of those retractable dog leashes. Hug back into the center. Toes are down, thumb is up. And then come back to the center and place that hand and knee onto the ground, and we'll switch sides. Right leg up, engage your core, feel your glutes, and then when you feel ready, Left arm out in front of you, thumb up, toes down. We'll bring our arm and leg out to the side and integrate through to the core of your body. Look straight at the ground instead of forward. Keep breathing. Lift that leg another inch in the air. And then come back to center. Place that hand and knee down, child's pose. Feel the compression and the kind of curling in on yourself, and give yourself an opportunity to breathe well. We're going to find our way to our right side. Lie down on your right side and form a straight line with your body. You can always put a block under your head if you need it, or your arm. And we'll try to be just on a straight line instead of bananaed in our body. Okay. Start with lifting your left arm up in the air. Stabilize through your core. Cinch your waist like you're pulling a drawstring. Okay. And then we're going to lift the left leg in the air. Try to keep your hips stacked. Toes are pointing forward toward the the wall in front of you. Open up through your breath. Deep breath in, deep breath out. And then see what it might feel like to bring your elbow and knee toward each other without rolling onto your back. And then stretch your leg and arms straight, legs still in the air. Exhale, elbow and knee. Bring it long. So this should be strong balance work if you're really on your side instead of rolling onto your back a little bit. And then place that hand and leg back down. Okay, rest for a breath. Before we turn to the other side, engage your side waist one more time so you feel your core like there's a gap underneath your side waist for a little mouse to crawl through. And then relax. And we'll move to the second side. All right, so our arm is straight out, our head's resting on our arm. You can always modify anything at all. If your balance is a little challenging, you can bend your knees a little bit. If your shoulder doesn't like this position, you can put your head on a block and bring your arm underneath you like this instead. Lots of choices, always lots of choices. Reach that arm up in the air. Press your leg into the ground as you lift your other leg up in the air. Toes forward, finding your breath. Engage that side waist. Engage your side glutes. You know, those outer hip muscles are working hard. And then stretch your arm overhead. And we're going to come into that side compression. So when you do this, try not to roll toward your backside. It's often that's the case. You know, we want to roll. So ground your leg and see what you can do to stay firm on your side. Exhaling to bring your elbow and knee toward each other. Inhale long. Let's do it one more time. Okay. And then relax. Bend your knees, bring them in a little bit, curl to a little ball, just let your hips relax. All right, and then we're going to come on up. Find all fours again. Wiggle things around so you're nice and free. Breathing deeply, and we'll lift to a dog pose. Enjoy this. Stretch your legs open. Maybe take your feet wide to the edge of your mat and turn your toes in for a moment. Your outer hips can open. The hamstrings can open. Push off the ground. And then we'll walk our feet forward and enjoy the symmetry. Halfway lift, opening up through your spine. Melt to fold. Push through your feet. Rising tall. Trace down through the center and have a moment's pause where you remember the repetition and patterning of presence, that our yoga practice gives us this opportunity to breathe and to be in our bodies and to be in this moment. And it's these habits, these repetitions that really serve us. So remember the presence of your practice. It's not just about the doing, it's about the being. Ground your feet and breathe deeply. Bring your hands onto your belly and breathe one more time. All right, we're going to turn sideways on the mat for some wide legs. Turn your toes out and just open up the inner thighs, a deep low squat. Okay. Grounding through the four corners of your feet. And then we'll come all the way back up to stand, a standing star. Deep breath here. Let's turn our right foot out and we'll find our way into Virabhadrasana, Warrior Two. As you come into this pose, gaze out over your fingers. Find your breath and we'll reach upward. We're not going to stay too long in these poses. Reach upward for a reverse warrior and then find your way into a Parsvakonasana. Stretch open here. Full breaths grounding through your legs. Keep pressing through your feet. Reverse your warrior one more time. And then back to Virabhadrasana. Gaze out over your fingers. Feel your back leg connect in. And then we'll stand up straight and let's find those poses the other side. Turn your left foot out. A big breath here. Exhale, Virabhadrasana to Warrior Two. Relax the shoulders. Gaze out over your fingers. Stay grounded in your legs. Full breaths. And we'll reverse the warrior. Open up your ribs, stretch through your side body. And then come into Parsvakonasana, elbow on your knee or hand on the block and stretch your body open. Deep grounding through your legs. Reverse that warrior one more time. Open things up. And then find Virabhadrasana again. Two big breaths here. A nice steady flow of your inhale. A good steady flow of your exhale. And then relax your arms down. Turn your feet straight. Wide-legged stance. Find your breath. Bring your arms to the sky. And again, lift your heart. Flip your palms open so that you're in a receptive, receiving pose. Close your eyes for a moment and just invite in. Okay, bring the hands to the heart. Pause here for a moment. And release your hands down. You need a block for this next pose. We're going to do Ardha Chandrasana. You can do this pose against a wall if you feel like balance is challenging or tricky for you. Turn your foot toward the short edge of your mat. We're going to start with the right side. One of the things that happens when we go into half moon is we turn our foot. So try to keep your foot planted right there. I don't have a lot of room, so I'm going to shorten my stance to come into this, but you can come into it from a triangle pose or Parsvakonasana or like I am where we're just stepping in. Your choice. Spread your foot. Ground the four corners of your foot. Keep your foot grounded. Remember that this leg, your knee is pointing toward the short edge of your mat. You're not turning it inward toward the long edge of your mat. We're going to come up onto your foot, hand on a block. You can take the block out to the pinky toe side more if you need, and then reach up. And hopefully all that work we did earlier with the outer hips, you have that strength built up here where we're lifting that leg, toes pointing forward, stretch open through your heart, reach to the sky, and then notice, is your back arched? Do you need to draw your ribs in a little bit? Can you stretch your tail toward your foot in the air? Can you lift your foot just a smidge higher? How's your breath? Is your knee locked, or can you unlock it, that standing leg? Does your foot move? Come out of the pose just the way we came in and come back up to stand. Pause for a moment, 2 feet on the ground, just enjoy the grounded feeling under you. Enjoy the fact that you have 2 feet to support you. Let's send some deep gratitude down into our legs. You know, they wake up and we get out of bed and we walk, and it's kind of a miracle. So let's just really appreciate the miracle. Remember, these sankalpas can just be gratitude, and just that is so much if we just remember to live in gratitude more. Okay, finding Ardha Chandrasana, half moon on this pose. Turn your foot. Remember to try to keep that foot nice and planted. We're not turning in or out when we come up into the pose. Half moon, you can come into it from however you want. When we come up onto that left leg, your block can go out toward the pinky toe side of your foot a little bit more if you need. Notice when you come up into the air, if your back is real arched. If so, tail tuck, not tuck, but draw your tail toward your heel, pubic bone toward your belly button, ribs in. If you can move your hand up, great. Check in with your standing leg. Is your knee unlocked? Is your foot grounded? How's your breath? Strengthen that leg in the air. Lift it. Move your shoulders away from the ears. Keep the long line from your crown to your foot. Maybe you look down, maybe you look forward, maybe you even try looking up. See where your balance takes you. Finding breath. And then we'll take a step back from whence we came. And again, stand on 2 feet. Let the ripples of that pose kind of dissipate through your body. Find your breath. Enjoy how grounded you are. Inhale and reach your arms to the sky. Exhale and fold forward. A halfway lift, extending and lengthening. Exhale to melt. Relax your skull. Step back, a dog pose. Feeling that extension and length. Breathe deeply here. Enjoy how close to the ground you are. Melt into that. We'll come forward into a plank. Sturdy. Push the ground away. Shoulder blades down the back. And then find the earth. Find your breath. Inhale. Maybe it's a cobra. Maybe it's a different pose. Whatever feels right to you. Exhale and relax down. Take your hands, put them underneath your forehead. Take your toes, curl them under so your knees can lift off the ground, and spread your legs a little wider so your big toes are touching the edges of your mat. Keeping your head down on your hands, so this is a lower body pose only. Lift your legs, toes are pointing down. And then release your legs. Engage your core, so try not to let this just be about the hips, be about your core too. And now lift your knees up again, but this time we're going to turn our legs out. So rest back down on the inner kneecaps. Same, legs are still that wide. And we're going to lift up from here. Core is engaged. Lift your legs, straight legs. Toes are turned out. And then relax. Pick up your knees, bring them back to neutral, hip width apart. Keep your head down if it's comfy, and just windshield wiper your feet left and right. And come back up onto all fours. And we're going to do a full Vasisthasana, but of course you can go back to the knee down version. I'll show you 3 different versions of this pose. So we can do like we began before, where our knee is on the ground. But if you're going to do this version, instead of having the shin perpendicular, have it parallel. So your foot and your knee are on the same line as your other hand and foot. So this is a little trickier balance to be in this variation versus this variation where you're perpendicular. So that's a choice if you like. You can also come onto your feet for Vasisthasana and have one foot in front of the other. You can also, I need to move back a little bit so I'm on my mat. You can also stack your feet. Okay, so I have to move my mat. You can choose, and then the 4th version that if you want to choose, you can do this, where you come into Vasisthasana, but your front foot is on the ground. Okay, your choice. Once you come into Vasisthasana, if you're able, you can lift that top leg off the bottom, off the ground. Okay, so it might be off your bottom leg, it could be just off the ground. So choose how you want to be. Remember, the shoulder blades are down the back, hand in the air, stack whatever you're stacking, and then if you want to, you can lift your leg in the air. Find your breath, breathing deeply, doesn't matter your variation. And then we'll come out and just rest for a moment. Shake out your wrists if that feels good to your body. Not everybody feels good with being on their hands. You can always do this pose on your forearm too. So, find what works for you. You don't want to get caught in a pose where you're flailing and you can't self-support. So if you start to notice that your alignment's going away, back off and do something slightly less intense so you can really be structurally sound for this posture. Okay, so again, shin parallel if your foot is down on the ground, or stack your feet or one foot in front of the other. Okay, whichever feels better to you. Take a deep breath, open your chest, shoulder blade down the back, maybe your leg lifts. Find your breath, hips stay high, open the heart. Whatever's on the ground, push into the earth. And then we'll come to rest in a child's pose. Take a moment to shake out your wrists and breathe. You can have your arms up over your head or your arms down at your sides. You can have your knees close or far. And we're all going to meet on our back. Just like we began, put your feet on the ground, arms out to the side for a moment. A breath in, a breath out. If you have a strap, grab it. Otherwise, you can hold behind your leg. Right foot in the strap. Left leg can be straight or knee can be bent with your foot on the floor. Your choice. Lift that leg straight up in the air. Have enough give on the strap where your shoulders are relaxed and soft. You're not pulled up. Root the femur bone deep into the hip, deep into the ground. We're going to take the strap into our left hand. cross the strap or cross the right leg over to the left. Opening up that outer hip, take your right hand right at the top of your thigh in that hip crease and press away. Be active through your foot. Experiment. Do you want to stretch your pinky toe side of your foot a little more? The big toe side of your foot a little bit more? Just kind of experiment with where the stretch lands in your hip when you do this. And then we'll lift that leg back up, switching sides. Left foot in the strap, right leg can be straight on the ground, or your knee can bend with your foot on the ground, whatever feels more neutral and stable for your pelvis. Have enough relaxation in your shoulders, so you don't want to have your hands pulled up high toward your foot. Use the strap to give your elbows a nice good bend where you're nice and relaxed. Root the femur bone, lift through your foot. Lengthen your spine. We're still in the beautiful breath. And then when you feel ready, take that strap into the right hand. We're going to cross the left leg over to the right. Left heel of left hand, the heel of your left hand presses your thigh away from your shoulder. Right at the hip crease, kind of get in that little nook and push away. And then experiment with the stretch through your foot. Flex your foot. Maybe the pinky toe side pulls back. Maybe it pushes forward. Just kind of play around with how the subtlety of the stretch impacts your hamstring and your outer hip. How's your breath? Is there a place for you to melt in the ground somewhere? Okay, lift that leg back up in the air. Take that foot down. Bend your knees one more time. Feet on the floor. Relax your legs. And we'll come into a reverse pigeon pose. So we'll take our right foot on our left knee and grab on to the back of your left thigh or the front of your left shin. You can always alter this by just crossing your right thigh over your left thigh for eagle legs, instead of reverse pigeon. And switch sides when you feel ready. Left foot on right knee. Grab onto the back of your right thigh or the front of your right shin, or cross your left thigh over your right thigh and draw your knees toward your chest. Your choice of how you go about this. Rest your head. Relax your upper body. Stay in your breath. And then release your legs. If there's any other posture you need before Shavasana, a happy baby or a twist or a bridge or anything at all, you do you. And as you find your way into Shavasana, if you're at all chilled, grab a blanket to cover yourself with. If you need something to cover your eyes, if the light is strong and you want to have a little more darkness, you can drape something over your eyes. Remember to take a little time here to get your body in a nourishing place. And then when you're ready, melt into the ground. Deep breath in, deep surrendering breath out, melt into the ground. Begin to deepen the breathing. Maybe some wiggling of your fingers or toes. Maybe turning your head from side to side. Maybe a big stretch. Eventually finding your way to your side. On up to a comfortable seat. Bring your hands together at your heart. And let's offer our practice not only for developing our own habits and our own intentions for our inner work, but also to share. To send this good energy that we've cultivated in our practice outward.
Namaste. Thank you, everyone. Blessings on the day.